Hi, and welcome back to the podcast. Today is episode 3. Just a quick recap on last week's podcast. That was with Tim Roberts. Hope you enjoyed that and you got to hear some insightful things about Tim and the person he is and his journey. Today is going to be about Pulse. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to tell you what the Pulse is. But I do have a couple of special guests today. So I've got my co-host Phil, who's with me today. And in the room, we have Andrew. Andrew, can you tell everybody who you are?
Yeah, my name's Andrew Shearer and I'm the Helpdesk manager at Teknobu.
Excellent. And what does that entail? How did that come about?
Well, that came about through, obviously, the incorporation of the company. Previously, I was on the systems coordination team at Johnson's 1871, alongside working under Phil and Leanne and working with yourself. And that's how basically I got into the organisation. That was a lot of helpdesk work originally, so I reported into Leanne, who we mainly focused on the help desk. So that included kind of tier 1 IT support, new starter setup, and processing of levers. So we've kind of incorporated that now into the Technobu system and now got our own team. Like I say, we're looking for the future. We're going to be bringing people in, and now I've been moved up to manager.
Excellent. That's good news. And so, Andrew, tell me, what is it like to work with Phil and what is it like to work with James?
Well, thanks for the easy question to start with.
Phil is in the room as well.
Yeah, and he's sat half an inch away from me as I answer this question.
I'm not mic'd up.
Working with Phil is, in the best way possible, a challenge, and that's what's great. You're dealing with somebody who knows 10 times more than you do on a bad day in the system, which is the best possible situation. You will learn so much from it, and you'll also realise in the best possible way how little you know. And that's what's great about it, because
Pay rise.
But because Phil's not gonna, he fully understands. He's very self-aware that he knows the system and you don't. So therefore, there's never any kind of why don't you know this. If you go to Phil and say I genuinely don't know what I'm doing, he'll take the time out. I recall a moment last year where we were talking about the blueprint. And this is something that now I look back at is actually embarrassing, that I had to knock on twice. But at no point did he make me feel like I was how small it was or how silly it was for me to be asking a question like that, which realistically I should have known. But he didn't make me feel bad about it. He was like, "Please come in," to when he had the office at the time, and was saying like, "If you're not sure, just please let me know." And like I say, he could have quite easily been like, "Andrew, you've been here a couple of months now. You should know this." But
hey, we've all got to start somewhere, right?
All I'll say is, look at you.
But yeah, like I said, I think the team we've created is brilliant. I think that certainly we all recall the Christmas party last year when there was 4 of us sat around, and like I say, just in the space of 6 months, that's doubled. So we're really seeing growth straight away.
This is the Christmas party where me and Phil got left to do a quiz by ourselves, wasn't it?
Yeah, apparently you did very well.
Oh, we did exceptionally well. Exceptionally well. I don't like losing, but I was okay that we came 4th out of 12. It was good. It was good. It was good.
I feel like the Jack Daniels helped with that defeat.
Yeah, I think we had a Jack Daniels for every team that took part in the quiz as well. No, that's great. I mean, it's a different environment, isn't it? It's different. Yeah. Obviously, you've come from a different background in terms of work. You originally applied for a very different job to the one you're doing now. Do you want to tell people the story of that?
Yeah, so in my previous role just before Christmas, I had, unfortunately, I'd been made redundant from my previous role. So as you can imagine, start of the year, things are quite difficult. So I found a role that did seem on paper quite good. And obviously, at the time, money was becoming quite of an issue. And I think James knows where this is going. So obviously I applied for the role and obviously tried to put my best foot forward, put my case over, and I was interviewed actually by James, but he rejected me. So we've always had that awkward conversation.
I still get the blame for it. I did not reject you.
But luckily for me, in all seriousness, there was you then, and I'm very grateful to this day for you doing it. You then recommended me for the job that I did actually end up getting of the systems coordination, and that's where I had my interview with Phil and Leanne.
Yep.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history. And how do you find the whole environment in and around Technobu? How does that make you feel? Because I remember when you very first started, you were quite, you were a very shy character.
Yeah.
Didn't have a lot to say.
No.
Had a lot to do and did your work well, but never really had a lot to say. You were quite coy, I think, within yourself. I think it's safe to say it's very different now. It's a very different thing now.
He's one of us.
Yeah, the Andrew that we have now, the Andrew we had then, quiet, was still an amazing person, but I feel being here has brought you out to a different level. Did you expect that from yourself?
True. Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one because I think kind of when I look back at that time, that was such a not joining the company. Before joining, I was in not a very good place. Obviously, I'd left an organisation that I'd been there for 6 years. It was all I knew, and kind of other things as well externally on top of that kind of really had a knock on my confidence. And essentially, the plan when I joined here was keep your mouth shut, head down, get past probation. That was really the first 6 months.
And rebuild yourself.
Exactly. And also, it is very me. I am very... I will be quite quiet at first, and I'll understand the relationship I can have with somebody before I kind of... I'm not one of those people, and I admire people who are like this, who are universal to everybody, whereas I will be very much like, right, okay, I could make that joke with that, I can have that relationship with that person, however this person wants to be very professional. So essentially, when I first meet somebody, I will be very kind of, I'll obviously keep it polite, obviously, and I'll try and keep that build that relationship, and then understand where that should go. Should it be treat this person more as a friend, or will it just be a purely professional one? So that's kind of what I did here. Mm-hmm. And then also, like I said, those other parts I mentioned earlier, that was kind of and then when you realise you kind of started to see a bit more of my personality, that was where kind of I'd got more comfortable and being like, right, okay, this is a team that I can kind of be myself a lot more in.
Yeah, we talked about this in episode 1, didn't we? Me and Phil. And being yourself is something you have to do here. You've got to bring... Everybody's different, but we're all the same. We're all here for the same goal. You know, we all have personalities. Yes, they're different, but we do all have personalities. And it's those personalities and those individual ones that make us as great as we are.
Yep.
You know, I think, you know, we can go from having a really intellectual conversation to an absolutely ridiculous conversation at the flick of the switch.
Yep.
You know, and that's that. You know, it's great, isn't it? It
yeah.
is. It's good. It's quite fun. It keeps the days good. You know, we're all very busy people. We all have a lot to do, but it's important to have good relationships with the people you work with as well, isn't it? So, the reason for today's podcast, obviously, we're going to talk about Pulse. So this is part of the reason why Andrew's here. Just going to probably pass over the mic to Phil for a little bit on the introduction of Pulse, and then I'm going to come back to you shortly, and we'll have another chat.
Perfect.
All right, thanks, Andrew. Hello, Phil.
Hi, James.
Welcome back.
I've been here all the time. It's just you know, we can't afford free mics.
No, free guys, 2 mics. That might be an option for the name of the podcast.
I somehow feel like Callum's going to clip that.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk about Pulse today, because Pulse is the name may or may not give it away, but Pulse is a really big part of Technobu and what we do and how we do things, isn't it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand over to Phil for a few minutes, and I'm going to ask Phil, what is Pulse? What is it for? What does it do? And why does it do it? What was the reasons?
I don't know if it's always going to be called Pulse, but we call it Pulse. When we came to think of a name about the system and what it's going to do, we really needed something at the heart of our business that could do everything. And we couldn't find. Do you remember looking? We were organising demos. We've got a very complex and all-encompassing business that does everything from contract management, licensing management, all the way through to marketing, social media, obviously the general account management, quote management, proposal management, and then we're looking at things like equipment management and obviously the complexities of running a help desk, which Andrew has on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
So when we looked and we demoed different systems, they all had incredible like pros and cons.
Well, they all seem to be hyper focused on one main thing, don't they? And that's the one, isn't it? It's that, we focus on help desk, we focus on sales.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you boil it all down to the core of these systems, you need accounts modules, you need user modules, you need contact modules, you need quoting modules, you need help desk tickets, etc., etc. And there's so much duplication. If we was to have multiple systems, we would be duplicating data and increasing and being less efficient all the time. And I don't know about you, but if you refer back to episode 1, that wouldn't work for me. I like to work smart, not like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't expect any of my team to log into 5 different systems to do different things. All of us are cross technical. Like Andrew will jump in with a bit of the development and system improvements.
Mm-hmm.
He will jump in and help Andrew on the help desk. Imagine doing that across like 4 or 5 different systems. It would have been a nightmare. Yeah. Oh, and then obviously invoicing as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Pulse really got its name from what we wanted it to do. We wanted it to be at the heart of our operations. And, Pulse, heart, haha.
The heartbeat of what we do.
Exactly. Insert a corny slogan here. So yeah, that's kind of where Pulse came from. And I think it's going to be a never ending development.
But that's the beauty of it. That's the reason for it, isn't it? Because, we talked about what we do in episode 1. And I remember your answer. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
still don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's only been a couple of weeks.
Do you know?
No. A lot. There's no way to boil it down to a specific, is that? And I suppose having something that has been built in-house by ourselves and caters to our needs because that's what it's built for. But having that there and it, having that ability to build on it is going to be key going forward. Well, like any good piece of software, any good program that you use, it will always be. It's a never-ending churn of, we could make this better. How often do we do that?
Yeah.
So why not do that with what we use ourselves?
Well, here you go. Let me ask you a question. So you've got an issue with your business, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And your issue is you're having multiple systems that don't talk to each other. And then you say, oh, Phil, what systems do you use? And I say, we use multiple systems that don't talk to each other. What are you going to do? Are you going to use us or are you going to go elsewhere?
Well, why would you change for the same?
Exactly.
Because that's too much effort for no difference.
So we need to kind of pioneer our own thoughts and ways of working in our own systems, not just put out sales messages and stuff like that online. We need to live and breathe what we offer. it's not been easy. It would have been easy to get off the shelf products.
Mm-hmm.
Like we as a team have had to learn how to embed different processes, and we're still learning. You know, how do you convert contacts to users, and then how do you assign equipment? How do you create equipment pools and asset pools?
Mm-hmm.
And then how do you invoice for all of it on a scheduled basis while still allowing your clients to log in with different permissions and different settings? It's never ending. But if we can't solve those issues ourselves, how are we going to do it for our clients?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of Pulse.
Yeah. So obviously Pulse as a piece of software, this is probably hard to do. But what are its core functionalities, or does it actually have core functionalities?
It has a lot of core functionalities.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you about the most valuable. For me, the most valuable is probably one of the new modules that we've added recently, and it's the customer feedback. So when a job is complete, obviously we need to get it invoiced, but also we need to understand our customer experience. So when we finish a job and we mark it as complete, or you mark it as complete, you know, automatically sends an email to the customer with a code. They put the code in, and then it allows them to submit their feedback on the pre, during, and post service that they've received, as well as obviously, I think they've got the ability to shout out any individuals that have gone above and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's really important to identify anyone that has gone above and beyond, but also understand from our failures. The only way we'll get better is through failures. So while it's not necessarily core functionality, it's probably the most valuable bit of functionality that we've got. In terms of core, obviously invoicing, right?
Yeah.
Businesses run on cash. Cash is king. We need to make sure that we can invoice. And how many licenses have we got out there? Thousands.
Mm.
So we have to administrate, manage, assign, unassign, you know, hundreds and hundreds of licenses. So at the end of the month, we've got all of these individual transactions, all of these licenses that we have to invoice. Having what we have makes that so simple.
Yeah.
So James, obviously you've used Pulse quite a lot.
Yeah, but
You've obviously been key to helping to improve the system, develop some functionality, but also put up with me when I'm changing things, which is quite often.
It's okay, I change them when you're not looking.
What's your most valuable functionality within Pulse?
The most valuable for me is the process that we built for taking an opportunity all the way through, from, I suppose the phrase is from cradle to grave, isn't it?
Yeah.
From start to finish. The opportunity, you know, we've had leads come from anywhere, you know, we do networking events, we're out, we see people, we get an opportunity, the opportunity goes into the system. That opportunity is scoped out if needed. You know, we'll go through as a team, we sit down and we review each and every opportunity that we get, which I think is, you know, I wouldn't say it's a niche to us that, you know, there are probably other people that do similar things, but it was key when we were building that, wasn't it, to have that in there and have everybody's involvement, because sometimes it's that, oh, what about this, or what about Y, or what about Z, you know, oh yeah, Andrew's going to need to do that, or Leanne's going to need to do that. And then you've got the scoping review, then we'll send out what we need to send out to the client, that all comes back, you know, the work starts, the system creates the work, we know what we need to do, all of the stuff's in there for that. Once that's completed, like you said, we've now got that functionality in there to send out for customer feedback, etc. Once that's done, we can then invoice. The invoice is sent out from the system as well. Once everything's invoiced, it's completed, and we know it's done. And it's literally having that start to finish process for that I would say that is the core for me of the system.
Absolutely. You know, when that was probably our starting point, wasn't it? Because we needed a defined process that was dynamic.
Yeah.
That we could take any customer through from start to finish. We all knew what was happening. We all knew what our future responsibilities could be, such as, let me give you an example. We could win a new contract that needed 200 handsets with SIM cards on a lease deal for 6 months, and all the complexities around managing those, obviously tracking and adding applications, etc. Just imagine we dropped that on Andrew and the help desk tomorrow and just said, right, we need this for a week.
Yeah.
I can imagine what his response is like, so I can see his face.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not fair. And you know, if you're listening to this and you work in sales or operations, you'll know that there's always a disparity between what's been sold and what's been delivered. Operations always under delivered to sales, and sales always oversell. And that is a challenge, especially when we're at such a small stage with a very small team. So it has to be that everyone is aware of what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Clarity, isn't it? It's absolute clarity on that. Okay.
We also used AI, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So Andrew, you know, obviously you heard what Phil was saying then about the system and that clarity. What is Pulse to you? Because I imagine Pulse to you is very different to what it is to me or what it is to Leanne.
So Pulse Helpdesk essentially to me is Technobu, in the sense of it's everything that we're about. So previously we have used a different system for our help desk, and there's been some challenges with that from the customer, and we've completely understood everything that they've said. And when we've collected that feedback, we've then created our own system in Pulse for the help desk, incorporating every bit of feedback that they provided us and giving them the best possible situation. So just a couple examples. Users have always had issue with our previous help desk, in the sense that there's no dashboard and they can't see all the tickets that they've had and they've been closed. First thing we did is we made sure that that was there for them. So they have their own unique login and they can see the whole, everything they've had in the last month. They can see tickets created, what was it about, and also how many have been closed. And we also have an SLA tracker on there. And that folds into probably the biggest part of it, which is the transparency. That's where Phil kind of mentions before about the fact that everyone can see the full SLA. We've got it agreed. They know exactly how long a ticket's been raised. If there was ever a situation where something fell out of SLA, we would fully give a detailed explanation as to why that happened. Maybe it was a third-party supplier that we were relying on, or anything like that. And that's why we've kind of given it. That's why, like I say, obviously I'm biased, but Helpdesk is the biggest, most important part of Pulse.
Well, I remember your little presentation on this. If we go back quite some months ago now, obviously Phil asked you to do a little presentation on different offerings for a help desk. And you went and you had a look, didn't you?
Yep.
You did the market research, you had a look at what was available, what were the benefits and negatives of each. And you came back with, I think it was three different options, wasn't it, at the time, that you thought were the best three for what you were doing right there at the time. Looking back at that now, and obviously we don't use any of those, and that's not because it was a bad presentation, because it was a good presentation. It was more because none of them really gave you everything that you needed, did they? So I suppose my question to you is it better to have what you've got now than what you were looking at before?
A great example of this, I think, is yesterday. So, as I say, in full transparency, we're still in the kind of rollout phase of the Pulse desktop. Users were not receiving an email with their response back. So if I'm using a third party, I've got to then flag that to that third party. Their SLA could be anywhere from 10 working days to up to a month for them to investigate that. All I did was I put a diary calendar. All I did was put a meeting in with Phil. Within 10 minutes, we had it fully working. And that's the complete difference that we've got now, that we've got it in-house.
Don't set unreal expectations, Andrew. 10 hours. 10
Yeah,
hours.
10 hours.
10
yeah.
hours.
But yeah, that's the kind of quintessential difference that we've got now, and this is why I say Helpdesk is Technobu. It's the epitome of it. This is why it is the epitome of Technobu. Biggest example, all feedback we've always got, I'd love an app. I would love a Helpdesk app. I'm on the road, I'm a site manager, I'm on site. If any of my guys have any IT issues or there's anything I need on, I want to be able to get on my phone and I don't have time to go on a laptop and log in, raise a ticket. We've released an app. It's in testing phase at the minute, but it will be rolled out to users. And that's going to be a game changer for our customers, because it's the biggest thing they've been asking for quite a while. Unfortunately, our previous Helpdesk just didn't facilitate it, and now it will.
Do you think you're more likely? Do you think you'll see an increase and a growth in interactions with Helpdesk?
Yeah,
just
certainly.
because of the app.
I will be quite honest. We've listened to feedback, and like I say, biggest word in Helpdesk is transparency. Users came back with the old system saying they didn't raise tickets because they didn't like it, and that's a horrible thing for me to hear, because being the Helpdesk manager, my job relies on people raising tickets. If people don't raise tickets, I'm not here, unfortunately. So the fact that we had a system, like I say, it did its job, it was brilliant, but obviously for certain users it was not what they wanted. And that's why, like I say, we took that on board and we've created this system for them. And yeah, I certainly see a world where we are a lot busier now because of the system we've created, and that is certainly a good thing.
Excellent. So, you have an assistant, don't you, on the Helpdesk?
Yeah.
Who is Sven?
Sven.
I forgot about this.
Who is Sven? Who tell us who Sven is, and how Sven came about, and what does Sven do?
Sven's my right hand in the best possible way.
Yeah. Sven's not bringing football home, by the way.
He's an artificial employee. He's used through AI, and it's a brilliant tool that we've got. So essentially, the idea behind Sven is a user will, if they're having any issues, Sven will interject straight away on the ticket and will gain that information for them. So that when the time comes where we've got a much larger team, the agent working on the ticket will, by the time they've actually picked up the ticket, all information's been obtained. So for example, if you're having an issue with Outlook, Sven will give you a back and forth, and you'll have a conversation with Sven, and he will fully understand the issues you're having to then supply that agent with all the information, and it's a smooth process to get that ticket resolved.
Yeah. And have you had any feedback from users at the moment about Sven and how he's doing?
Yeah.
Do people know that Sven is a real person?
That's the question.
That is a good question, because it's probably important to know that, isn't it?
Yeah, I've had our HR department very worried a couple of times because I've advised them that he's not had his induction yet. And they were fully under the belief that it was a member of the team, which is brilliant. And like I say, the thing is, with Sven, there has been a situation where somebody has called me up and just said, I'm not sure Sven's understanding this ticket. However, we have done some investigation into it, and the response that Sven said is actually correct as per their ticket. It maybe have just been a wording from the actual user side. And also, you got to remember, it's learning every day. So the fact of, there might be a situation where wording slightly changes, and that's why Sven may not pick it up as much, or he may not ask the question he needs to, but he'll learn that straight away. And and it'll just be continuous improvement.
Brilliant. Excellent. Well, thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, no
thanks for your
problem.
insight into that.
Thank you.
I'm going to pass back over to Phil. Hey, Phil.
Hi, James. Back again.
Back again. Right. So obviously, getting an insight from the people that work with us and how the systems are working for them is great.
Yes, Sven's loving it.
Yeah. Employee of the month. Speaking of which, I will bring this up. I feel like it's really important that everybody knows this.
I forgot about this.
So we have a monthly competition that's run, right? And it's a points-based system. And the points can come from all different kinds of angles. They've been heavily on the Euros at the moment. But we do have a points-based system, and we do have a monthly winner. We had a monthly winner in April, which was James. That's me.
Well done.
In May, we had a monthly winner, which was James.
I was on holiday.
As was I.
Oh, yeah.
And July, I wasn't here for the beginning of July, and I made it a hat trick, a turkey as they would call in bowling. So I am currently the holder of of the monthly competition, and I am yet the only person at Teknobu to win the monthly award. I don't have a trophy. I'm not happy about that.
To
I'm
be
quite
fair,
humble about this
it's been
as well.
quite impressive. Like, you have done well. You have done well, but, step challenges on now.
I'm aware.
Yeah. So we've got 2 teams in an effort. Obviously, I think we mentioned this in the first episode, didn't we? So we're now into full flight. We've taken all the steps from the first week, and then we've split them into 2 even teams.
Yeah, Tim is a step machine.
He is, and he's on holiday, so he's either running up and down the beach or he's at the pool
He's
bar.
definitely running backwards and forwards to the pool bar, isn't he?
So that could be interesting, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah, definitely.
I'm going for 4 in a row.
Good.
I feel like I should retire after 4 in a row, though.
We start calling you Pep.
No. Anyway, back onto topic. Just thought I'd let you all know that. Quite a humble guy. And I don't rub it in people's faces, but in your face, Technobu. I am your king.
Hey, I bought you some muffins to celebrate. So.
Yeah, they were delicious. Thank you. Pulse.
Yes.
Pulse.
Yes.
So obviously, we've got a background of Pulse, what it does.
Oh, just quickly, talking about Pulse, what has your resting heart rate gone down?
Down?
Yeah, with all this walking.
Oh, yeah.
Mine's well down.
Yeah, I'm down to about 61, between 59 and 61.
Mine's gone from 120 down to 90. Yeah, it's definitely dropped. It's definitely working.
Yeah.
What did you do? 110,000
for the 7 days, 108,406.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I'm not counting properly, but
that's ridiculous.
108,000.
He's gone through 4 pairs of trainers. He's gone through a hallway carpet.
Yeah, and 46 golf balls on the front now.
No, that was me. Yeah, that's a different story. Yeah, sorry, Pulse.
Pulse. Yeah. What's the future of Pulse, and what's the future development of Pulse? Obviously, we touched on it before. It's going to be an ever-working, ever-growing piece of software. But outside of it growing inside, where does it sit?
So for everyone listening, this is going to be an internal system only at the moment. We will sell it in the future, but I think as we are continually to build and improve, it's ours. Sorry, guys. In terms of where it goes, we just implemented eSign, which was quite complex actually,
really good.
because it needed to work across multiple clients and different things within the system. Mm-hmm. We've done some clever stuff with AI, especially around helping to support our drive for SEO and analysis of our website and our content and things like that. So we started to bring marketing functions in there, which was really powerful. We're building an app, which Andrew kindly said. So we've got that done. We've had that tested, and that will allow the users the ability to quickly create tickets wherever they go.
Yeah.
But we've got some things under wraps that we're working on at the moment. Mm-hmm. And all I can say is,
we did last week, myself and Tim, we did mention one of those.
Which one was it?
Apex.
Oh no, not that one. No, Impulse.
Oh right, Impulse. Sorry.
So we're very fortunate to have an intern working with us, and we're supporting him by giving him live projects, and he's can go and work on stuff without responsibility, to be fair. But we're giving him some ideas, and he goes and works on them. one of the ideas that we're going to be using in this, and it actually works, is the ability to control the whole app with your voice, and the app will then create the tickets for you. So in terms of help desk support, you literally tell it what you need.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it is. It's very interesting. It's really, really cool. And obviously being fortunate enough to see Mo's work, it's great to see the insights of it and how he's doing it as well.
Yeah.
And how it actually works from a raw point of view. You know, seeing how it pulls in that data and what it does. It's going to be really good. That, I mean, there's a lot, like for the clients that we have currently and those that use the help desk. You know, Andrew touched on it before. You said yourself, these people work in all sorts of different places. You know, you've got people out on site. You've got sales guys that are out on site. They're having issues with things. 75% of some of those days could be spent in a car, right? And you just quickly need to log into somewhere. You're not going to get your laptop out in the car. You don't, you know, I don't want to pull over at the services. I just want to get home now. You know, I've been out on this road for 6-7 hours. You know, I want to get back, but I need to get this sorted.
Yeah, and absolutely, we don't condone using apps while you're driving, of course.
No.
But you know, with our app integrated into Google or Siri, you could say, "Hey Google, create a support ticket. My hands-free's not working." Do you know what I mean? And then it sets it up, it categorizes it properly, it adds the detail in, it adds the name of the support ticket, priority. It does everything for you.
Yeah,
that's kind of where we want to get to. There's some other stuff that we're looking at and working on, but you know, we can't give too much away right now.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So James, obviously host with the most. How has your life changed after episode 1? Have you been stopped in the local galloways?
I've been stopped by my mum. She loved it.
Good.
She loved it. She listened. Also called me a liar.
Yeah, about you being shy as a child.
Shy. Yeah. I feel like I should clarify that. What I meant by that was, obviously I still talked, but I would only talk to people that I knew.
So what you meant was he was shy on his level.
Probably.
Yeah.
In terms of you know, it's like my humbleness, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I'm a humble guy. You know.
Just a nice guy, James.
Just a nice guy.
Yeah,
you know, and you know, you say things enough, and people will start to believe them. You know, and you know, I am just a nice guy.
Yeah.
But no, I've had my wife listen to it.
Mine hasn't. If you're listening now, Rachel, congratulations. You've passed episode 1.
Terrible. She really enjoyed. She really enjoyed listening to it, and there I've spoken to people. They've listened. You know, we've put it out on all the social medias. You know, and I've shared that, and people have listened to it, and you know, people have come up and said like, "Oh, I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that. You know, it's good natural conversation." And that's what we want to do. We alluded to that when we very first started. This is a warts and all thing. It's, you know, coming in and talking about the highs and lows. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying this. It's good. It's good fun. It's an hour of the day where I get to do what I do best.
And that's why James isn't shy. So what's coming up on the next one? What's the plan? Have we got an agenda yet?
So we've got a couple of ideas for the next podcast. One of them being some of the other apps. We're going to talk about what's in the pipeline, I think, next week, because we're very close to a couple of things going live. And I think, you know, if we could get a head start on them next week, I think one of them's due out roughly a couple of weeks' time now.
Yeah, a couple of weeks, just for the final touches.
Yeah, and I think what we'll do is start to focus a little bit on the things that we've been doing outside of looking after our clients, you know, doing the bits, the ideas the ideas that we've had and where they're currently up to. And a couple of them are coming to fruition. It's really exciting, actually. I'm looking forward to seeing how they're greeted.
Yeah.
And I think we'll touch on those next week. And if I can get Leanne on here, I absolutely will do, because I think that will be nothing but a joy for everybody else.
Yeah, she'll hate it, but she'll love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
She will hate it. And if not, I can give you a bit of a background into the rest of the team here at Technobu as well. What people are currently up to, who we've brought in, what they're doing, and how they've made our lives easier and harder at the same time.
And obviously, we've got the Euros on at the moment, and we're recording this on the 2nd of July.
Yes.
So hopefully next week, when's the final?
Oh, we've also got a general election coming up too.
Oh yeah, so we should be in the semis. England should be in the semis. Sorry, not we. I can't play anymore. And we will understand which party is leading the country.
Very interesting times.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
All I want to say on the matter is I hope mortgage rates drop, because I'm about to move house. This could be fun.
And have you found the football? Have you guys been watching?
I've been too busy with work.
Andrew, have you been watching?
Oh yeah, certainly. Yeah, I've been straight on that. Especially with Wigan season being over, it's brilliant having something in the
It's
summer.
like a continuation of Wigan season, isn't it?
I'll ignore that one.
What have you made of the competition so far? Anybody stood out?
Oh, Spain, certainly. Definitely not England.
Who's got Spain in the sweepstakes?
That's worth 10 points if anybody's listening as well. So that will basically win James July if Spain win the competition. So
10 points for the win.
Yeah. And I offered to go last in the sweepstakes as well. Actually, most of it was drawn whilst I wasn't here. I was away. So I fully expected to come back and have a bag full of Bolivias or,
We wouldn't do that.
But no, the first one I drew out was Spain. I think I had 3 teams. I had Spain, Georgia, and Hungary. Now, obviously, I was in a win-win situation on Sunday, wasn't I? Spain, Georgia. I called it. Said Georgia would go ahead.
Yep.
I think they had nothing to lose. I think they've had an exceptional competition. But yeah, I think you're right. I think in terms of going out and winning it, England just haven't been convincing yet. They haven't. They're doing what they need to do though, and defensively they've been very good. But at the other side of the field, where it's been important and it matters, it just goes to show we've scored 5 goals, and Bellingham's got 2 of them. Kane's got 2 of them. It's we're just not firing, are they?
Like you say, hopefully with the weekend something will come about. And also, like I say, we can't forget, I know they struggled last time, but Portugal, having the best manager in the competition is always going to give them the edge.
For anybody that doesn't know, Roberto Martinez is the current manager of Portugal, and he won Wigan the only FA Cup, which was a great achievement, and props to him for that. But he won't be winning the Euros.
We'll see. He's got previous
Tim's
competitions.
got Portugal as well.
That's brilliant. That means Tim's won a trophy.
Yeah, so thanks for listening today. I hope it's been insightful for you. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you so much for coming in. I wasn't sure whether you would or not. I'm really happy that you have. I think it's good for everyone out there to hear about the great people that we've got here, not just myself and Phil.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thank you for having me.
I know. And Phil, thanks for being my lovely co-host again. It'll be me and you again next week, I think. We do have all of our social medias, if you'd like to give us a follow. So Instagram and Twitter is at Technobu UK, and LinkedIn, Facebook and TikTok is simply Technobu. Thank you for listening, and goodbye. Bye-bye.